I can start. Well, like Steffi said, I'm an interior designer specialized in healthy office spaces, and I'd like to tell you something more about that. I tried to keep it like within 15 to 20 minutes. Honestly, I could talk about this for days. So if it's too much, just give me a sign. I'm just gonna see if this is working now. Oh yeah, oh shit. It was working before and now, oh no. Yes. So yeah, this is me, just a little introduction about my experience as a designer. So I have some experience also for co-working spaces, several offices, all kinds of projects that has to do with interior design. But like I said, mainly focus on offices, because I don't know what you think when you think about an office, but normally maybe you think it's not the most inspiring or maybe not the most healthy space that you think of, and this was for me definitely a motivation to change this. So this is really my mission in my work, to really create healthy environments for people that work a lot. Well, I'm from the Netherlands, from Amsterdam, and maybe you can imagine that's it's a big city. It has loads of offices. Doesn't have like a nice sea breeze like here, or I mean, has wind, but the climate's a bit different. And yeah, you can imagine that the office environment has a really large impact. Besides interior designer, I also did a course for a well-accredited professional, and this is basically that I'm able to certify a building on how healthy it is for its users. But I'll explain a little bit more about that later. Just a few projects that I've done. So this is a nice pharmaceutical project in Amsterdam, 1,100 square meters. A project for Just Eat Takeaway. Maybe you know the brand or the company. It's kind of like Uber Eats. And yeah, it has quite a large office in Amsterdam of 15,000 square meters. Was really, really, really big, 8 floors, and yeah, was a lot of work. But a really nice office in the end. This is a slightly smaller one, so I'll work from quite small offices to bigger offices. Also, I'd like to know a few things about you guys. So I told you I'm from Amsterdam, and I'd like to know which part of the world are you from. So is there anyone here from Africa? Raise your hands, yes. And anyone from maybe the Americas, like States or South America? No one from Europe? Some from Europe, Asia maybe. No, so I think mostly New Zealand, yeah, amazing. So we have like a lot of coverage here. And do you all work in an office? Like, who works in an office like most of the time? Like maybe like 50-50 or maybe less? From home, okay, so yeah, that could be like a home office situation, maybe, something like that. Okay, great. And have you ever had the feeling that the office you were working in was unhealthy? Yeah? Raise your hands if you thought. Just get some movement in there. Okay, well, I definitely had the same feeling, and yeah, I'm gonna show you how we can change that. First, I'm gonna make you a little bit depressed, like not too depressed, but just a little bit, just to show you like the current health situation. Of course, this is very like overall and global, but what we can definitely see, especially with office workers, is that we sit a lot, and this is a huge problem because like our blood flow is not like moving anymore, and it even has a higher risk of diabetes. And doesn't matter what you eat, just because just sitting still, you already can develop diabetes because of the lack of blood flow. And yes, also other things like a poor ventilation in the room can cause all kind of viruses. This was a hot topic during COVID, obviously. And yeah, everything else that you can see on the sheet. Yeah, there's many things also like mental health issues. We see more and more burnouts within like office workers a lot. Another slide, this is maybe more interested for people who own companies or who own offices, but for me this is always, I really like this slide actually. I always show this to my clients because it really shows like a cost perspective. So a lot of clients, they are a bit anxious to spend money on healthy office design or office design in general. But as you can see, 92% of all the costs over a lifespan of 30 years, so it's quite long, is spent on staff. And what if your staff is unhealthy, is getting sick, you have absenteeism, etc., then those costs are just going to build up. And then you see such a small percentage, only 2% for design and build, that can make a huge difference if you've done it in the correct way. So some tools that I use to create a healthy office space is, for instance, the WELL building standard. So that's where I did the course for. But there's also other things like environmental psychology. So that basically means to change the space in such a way that our behavior is influenced in a positive way, preferably. They also use it actually for marketing purposes in shops and so on. So this is all, it's another part. And then biophilic design, I will get back to that later. And healing environments actually being used more in hospitals to get people better faster, basically. So the more healthy your hospital surrounding is, the sooner people recover from diseases or just injuries in general. Well, building standard, well, there's just like several levels. I won't go too deep into this. I just first wanted to check your ideas before we really get into the matter. So when you think about a healthy office, what would be something that you would think about? Fresh air, yeah. Yeah, you can just shout and I'll just... Yes. Yes. I try to keep up with you. Plants and... Chairs. Yes, ergonomic chairs. Oh, this is moving. And you said, I think, community, really nice one. I don't know if I spelled correctly. Maybe you've noticed English not my first language. Forgive me if I say something wrong. Any other ideas, maybe? Maybe you in the back. Healthy offices, what do you think of? Sorry? Yes, cleanliness. Yeah, it's very important, especially when we are talking about like viruses, etc. And also the type of cleaning products. Like for instance, here you'll use like natural product, right? So if you use like chlorine or something like that, it brings emission into the air. So definitely clean. L. Thank you. Amazing. I get an English course like in between, like sharing knowledge. Okay, I'm just gonna try it again this. Okay, so what the WELL building standard did, they divided like all these ideas, which are all evidence-based, into 10 subjects. So here you already see like some of the ideas you came up with. You can definitely see in which concept they would fit. So we said like community, air quality, light, etc. I'm just going to show a few of them because of the time, and I don't want to get into everything like too deep. But yeah, I just picked a few that I really personally like. So for instance, healthy lighting. So what would we consider healthy lighting? So here I just have a sketch of a design that I did with back in the days, but I still think that is very up to date if you see like the impact of what I did with all the types of lighting. So I put like daylight glazing. That means that you're going to get like direct light, because in a lot of office buildings they have some kind of film or filter in front of it to block the sun. Of course, this depends per climate. In the Netherlands, we rather have like more natural light into buildings, and maybe here because of the heat it will get. And another interesting one is that you see here is human-centric lighting. Have you ever heard of human-centric lighting? No? I really like it because it imitates natural light. So you can imagine that in the morning, the light would be a bit more red, you know, when the sun is rising. During noon, the light is much more blue, and during the night it's more red again. And what human-centric lighting does is imitates this like flow. So in the morning it's more like warmer, during noon more blue, and in the evening warmer. So that helps you when you're working till late. It helps you sleep because it creates more melatonin production in the evening. It's the same with your blue light filter on your phone, right? So then if you look into too much like bright light and blue light in the evening, you're going to get trouble sleeping. So you can also mimic this all in an office environment. We have the placements of the desks, which is super easy, but still I see it done like wrong so many times. And the best way to place a desk is just 90 degrees from the facade, because then you have like the perfect light to look at your screen, because you don't have any reflections from backlight. And also if you would look towards the light, your eyes constantly have to switch to light, darker, and it's very exhausting basically. Maybe you've experienced this sometimes. And then also you see some things about light reflections, colors, and materials. Just gonna see if this is working. I think I'm gonna use this. My favorite subject, movement. I already touched upon briefly, like we are sitting a lot in office environments, and basically this is quite a big problem. Well, also I said I'm from the Netherlands, maybe you know we like to bike a lot, even at the office. So we have little desk bikes, and also maybe you see in the back there's a standing desk, and that's also very beneficial. It's a sit-stand desk, so you can just alternate all the time. So you don't have to stand the whole day, but you alternate, and this is really good for blood flow. I love it. I just do this all the time, basically. But you can also do that by just have like one sitting desk, or like you have here, you have the lower desk and a higher desk, and then you can just alternate there. So that's very beneficial. Just another sketch with a few ideas. So what we did here was build a new staircase, also with calorie counters on them, so you have some awareness, so you can create some awareness with signage. Ergonomic furniture, of course, also access to gym. Well, here you have access to the ocean, so I think it's maybe not that important, but you can imagine if you have like a really city environment, and if you have your gym in the office, it will motivate you to have more exercise. Other things like wearables or challenges you can do between co-workers. There's so many things you can think of. Just gonna move to the next subject. So healthy materials, also one that I'm very interested in, because I almost see materials like food. So if we're looking at food, we kind of want to know what's in there because we put it in our bodies, right? And also, like you just said, like cleaning or cleaning products is important because that's what we breathe in. And like with also like your clothes and all kinds of materials, they evaporate toxins a lot of the times. A lot of the materials we use in interior design are actually made from petroleum or plastics, and this evaporates into the sky. We just breathe it in the whole day, and yeah, that's why I love to use more natural materials, for instance like wood, and wood also keeps on bringing more keeps on creating less CO2 in the environment. So it's CO2 reducing. Just a few examples also. You can see up here, acoustic material is also very important in office spaces because nothing is more annoying than having to listen to your coworker like call all the time or hearing noise. And yeah, acoustics is a main subject in office design too. Also using natural fabrics. So like I said, a lot of fabrics are made from plastics, just like our clothes, etc. So using natural fabrics is not just only better for a healthy environment, but of course also for sustainability reasons. That's another talk. And for instance, this flooring, linoleum, I'm a huge fan of that flooring because it's anti-allergenic and it's very sustainable too. It's a natural product. That's also what they use in hospitals, for instance, a lot. The linoleum, yes. Have you heard of that? Sometimes artists also use this to do like some kind of stamp stamp technique. They scratch out of a design. It looks a bit like concrete actually, but it's much softer. So it has, it's made from line oil. Yes, it's better for acoustics. I mean, it's not as acoustically, how do you say, dämper? Reducing, not as acoustically reducing as carpet, for instance, or cork, but definitely better than concrete. Yeah.
Would you recommend wood over linoleum, or would you?
Depends for sure, like on the space, and personally, I wouldn't recommend wood where people are walking a lot, because then you will hear the footsteps all the time, which is in terms of acoustics, maybe a bit less, but in certain areas, it's great to use wood because it's a beautiful natural material, but it really depends on which area. So I would be very careful to make the decision where to use it and where not to. Yeah, but that's what interior designers are for, to help you with the decision. Feel free to come over after the talk. So I think last subject is how can we improve mental health in the office? Maybe you would think it's all about coffee, but maybe it's very important. There's also some other subjects. And one of the subjects, I briefly already mentioned it in the beginning, is biophilic design, which is a separate part of design. It's also evidence-based. And what it does, it mimics natural elements like patterns, like real nature, structures, materials, etc. It mimics it into the built environment. So here we are really lucky because we look outside, you have plants, you have trees, you have ocean. But imagine when you're really in a built city, you have maybe a lot of concrete, a lot of iron, not a lot of color maybe. And with the help of biophilic design, we make the lives of people in those environments a bit better. It's amazing to play with that also, all these kind of patterns, maybe leaf pattern or flower pattern or all these things. And maybe after this talk, when you look around, when you're in spaces, you can even recognize hey, there's we have the beautiful fish paintings here. So that's definitely an example of biophilic design. So last but not least, I have a test for you. You're not going to get away without taking the test. So I already explained many parts of a healthy office environment. And here I just assembled a few pictures of the design. This was for just a takeaway. And yes, I would like to know from you what you see here in terms of healthy office design. Pardon? And which part of biophilic design? The greenery? Yes. Green.
Natural light.
Natural light. Yes, so natural daylight, especially on this one, you can see that very well, because what we did here, we created some kind of space inside the space with only glass walls here, so that we would maximize the daylight coming in all the way through the whole floor. So that was a conscious decision. What else do you see?
See a lot of pastel colors.
Colors, yes.
Bottom one, or even just above. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's inviting to socialize. Maybe would that yeah? Yes. I'm looking for one that's quite obvious, I would say. I hope you can. Yes. Which one? The stairs. Yes. So we built new stairs there in the entrance area, so that when people enter, they would immediately see the staircases. So instead of just using the lifts, they would use the staircase, and it has a better experience, but of course also more exercise. And then another one was, this one is the play area. I don't know if you can see it properly, it was maybe a bit far away, but we also created a play area like we have here, the ping pong, for instance. It's really good, not just for mental health, but also for some physical activity, of course. And the last one, so slightly different look and feel, but also here there's a few health aspects that we incorporated. Yes. Just gonna flip this. Natural, yes, definitely. So that's also part of. Yes.
The community.
Community, for sure. Anything else?
Are they taller desks?
Yes. So this is indeed like the standing height. So the desks are movable in height. So well spotted, well spotted. Height adjustable desks.
Lots of plants.
Plants, yes. Plants like this.
Lots of wide open spaces.
Mm-hmm. So what would that do for your health, would you think?
I guess it would sort of open up, would you feel less claustrophobic?
Yes, less claustrophobic, and it will also get a lot of natural light because it reflects more of the daylight into the center of the building, yes.
It looks like the spaces absorb the sound very good.
Yes, very well spotted. It's also due to the ceiling. The ceiling was already there, that's not something I designed. And also here you see some of these moss strips, and that's also absorbing, and the carpet there too. And just one other one, we also place these tables here, which are meeting tables, and we also place them in a higher position, so that even if you have a meeting, you can have a stand-up meeting. We have the stools there also when people have maybe injuries, but you can have your stand-up meeting, and it's even proven that people have shorter meetings when they're standing up. They're more active and more creative. So yeah, I love to play with those ideas. And if you don't have the chance to have your height adjustable desks, at least during the time when you have your meetings, maybe 1 or 2 hours a day, you can still have a bit more an active position. So yeah, that was kind of the last one I wanted to share with you. So do you guys have any questions in general about healthy office spaces? It's a very tricky question. So this is the air subject, so on ventilation, and it's true, like you said, because of all the mechanical ventilation, like all the office buildings are like really close. You cannot open a window, etc. But then the settings of the HVAC systems, of the ventilation systems, they have to be like really good, because when there's like a virus in it, then it's just spreading out. So there's all these rules and regulations within the WELL building standard. They say it needs this type of filter, it needs UV lighting in the ducts to like kill all the bacteria, etc. It's like so many rules and regulations for that. You need like every space within a space needs separate ventilation, because otherwise you're just gonna suffocate. So even the like little focus booths, if they're built up to the ceiling, you need to have your ventilation there. So yeah, you have to work with it if it's already there. But to be honest, what I do at home, because we don't have like a HVAC system at home, just opening the windows, because normally outside air quality is much better than indoor air quality. So yeah, that's basically the vision. Is that like an answer to the question?
Yeah, just like in the very tall buildings,
Yeah.
everything's closed off, but I heard that they're sometimes like coming back from it.
Yeah, I agree. Like sometimes, and it's so expensive. Yeah. It's so expensive to have like all these installations and have them like exactly on the right setting. But on the other hand, if you have really like wide buildings like this building here, you want to build a meeting room inside, and it needs to be acoustically closed, you have no other option than get mechanical ventilation in there, because otherwise you have to have like a pipe going outdoors, and so it depends on the building. And
But probably most buildings who have it don't really clean it often or don't.
And the settings are not perfect, and that's true. Yeah, it's a problem for sure. Anybody else? Any question? Working from home. Well, that was so interesting. During COVID, I also did a lot of advice on working from home. I also work from home sometimes. I have my sit-stand desk. What I would try, so first maybe realize for yourself if you feel any like health problems, or you think you could do better. For instance, switching between sitting and standing. So what you can do, if you don't have a height adjustable desk, you can just move around the house. So maybe first you work in, maybe you have an office space or at a regular table, then move your laptop, place it on a laptop stand, and maybe you can work in the kitchen. So you have like an elevated desk. And you can maybe move outside when you have break, and just try to motivate yourself to get like the best posture every time you can. And just alternate, try to move the body as much as you can. That's basically, I would say, the best. Does that help you? Yeah? Okay, yeah.
Do the laundry and I cook.
Well that's great. Yeah, that's great. You can all do those things during work. Or if you have your meeting, or if you have a call, and you can just like walk around the house, or maybe if you have like a garden or anything, you can just go out for a bit, have some natural light, and when you don't have to be at your computer, you can try that. And I think like every minute that you're standing or moving position is already great, because we just become like so stiff in our chairs. So. Yes, for sure. Yes. So not acoustic, like bad acoustics is, I think, number 1 or number 2 complaints in office spaces, and there have been like many studies done on that, and especially phone calls, because if your colleague is on the phone and you hear the conversation, your brain is trying to fill in the gaps. So when I'm on the phone, I'm going to say, I'm going to do that tomorrow. Then you're going to think, like, what you going to do tomorrow? And then you're like so distracted from your own work. So yes, there's tons of studies about that. I can even fill like a whole talk about acoustics, I would say. But the best thing I always say is have like your phone booths separately, completely acoustically closed. So, and then it's also about agreements in the office, so that you say, like, if you get a call, you walk away. So it's also about behavior in the workplace. So keeping each other in mind that it's very offending actually to have a call in the open office space. Yeah. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone other questions? Oh, yeah.
Biophilic design.
Yeah.
I suppose you could apply that to like your home as well. It's not just the office.
For sure.
Or other spaces.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Do you have anything in mind?
I guess that's just a statement.
Yes. Do you want to do something? Do you want to?
I'm
Yeah.
just thinking, like,
Yes. No.
all
For
the
sure.
stuff
For
in your
sure.
own home as
For
well.
sure. Yes. And it's quite easy. Like even just putting plants, or have like something made out of wood, or a beautiful poster, or that already helps. That's like proven. That it doesn't even matter, like if you're looking outside to nature, of course it's beautiful, but if you don't have that possibility, then having a beautiful poster like of an outdoors environment already helps. It already tricks the brain that, like, yeah, you're in nature.
Cool.
Yeah. So maybe you have some ideas. Yeah.
Even for office space, you just like mental health and physical health. What you're saying,
Yeah.
there's a lot of studies on
Yeah.
people getting better
Yes.
sooner if they
True.
even just the colors, like just
Yeah.
green color, or just use something that makes them.
Yeah. Yes, a lot is done in hospitals too. This study was in the 60s, was already done in the 60s, where they put like one person in the hospital, they just had a view on buildings and concrete, and the other person, they had the same condition, was placed in front of a window with natural view, and the one with natural view, he or she, I don't know, could go home days before the one that was, like placed in front of the concrete. So yeah, it has a huge effect. This just like, because we're so primary, we're just like natural human beings. I mean, we're natural beings. We should be part of nature, and especially in city environments, we just get so detached. Fixed desk, yes, definitely, yes. That's really depending on the type of work. So for instance, I was designing an office space for lawyers, and usually they more often have their own desk, also because it's very, how do you say, like confidential, like what the type of work they work with. So this is a huge factor to take into account in office design too. It also has to do with money, of course, because it's square meters. And what we see now after COVID, that a lot of people work hybrid. So like they work home, or they work like partly home and in the office. And it saves a huge amount of square meters if you can share the desks. Thus then we apply a desk sharing ratio, and that first you do a little research on how many people would come to the office. But it does require a bit of effort from the people that work there, because they have to like clean out their desk again. And
from my experience, mostly the people ending up at the same spot.
yes, it's true, because we're creatures of habit. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Like the earlier you go,
yeah.
the better chance for you.
Yes, it's fine. It's not an issue. I mean, also sometimes we create neighborhoods. So for instance, marketing department here, financial department there, and yeah.
In a department, I mean,
Yeah,
in a way,
yeah.
it would be actually cool to change.
Yes.
Like an exchange, but I think the people so used to do the same.
Yes.
And, I mean, they do remind you for the flexible desk policy, but
Yeah.
the clean desk policy as well.
Yes, it's also, yeah, I'm a bit annoyed by that, to be honest. Yeah.
The majority of
Yeah.
the people it doesn't work.
No, to be honest, yeah, for like choosing the same spot, I don't think it's a huge issue, because it's just kind of their nature. We don't need to force people to change all the time, because for some people they really like to be like comfortable in that way. And for other people like me, I love variety. So I always want to try different things. So I think that's very depending person to person. But like you say, like the clean desk policy, that's like territory behavior. That's something, yeah, that's not very nice for other people, because then you're basically saying like, this is my desk, this is my office, my stuff is here. And yeah, I think that's something with behavior that's, could be better. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, for sure.
Are there any studies out there which show the impact on the health? Is it a stress for some person to find the spot, or is it?
Yeah, I have to think about it. The only thing what I've read about, I have to formulate this correctly. So that people do have the tendency to stay in their like comfort zone, and like pushing them out of their comfort zone all the time can be stressful. So that's why I would say like we shouldn't like push them too much. And for the rest is in terms of like clutter. Like if you have a lot of stuff on your desk, it can get like dusty, and yeah, it's not very Marie Kondo style if you have like your stuff, and yeah, it's distracting. I would say it's distracting, yes. But like clear stats on like all the evidence based, like this is like what I can tell you about that. Yeah. Any other questions? For now, no.
Regarding animals.
Oh.
You know, like pet policy.
Yes.
Experience with
I did. There was at one office I was working. Like some of the colleagues, they really wanted to have a dog there, but the owner, the employer, he really didn't want to. I think he was allergic. So yeah, then it's like even worse. But from a mental perspective, I would think it could help, because it's a natural element.
when you have to design
Yes.
some sections,
Mm-hmm.
would you design, or is it like a standard to design like a design
That's a really nice idea, actually. I love that. I mean, I never had the question. So when, because it's either what I work in is like the bigger corporates, so then it's just like out of the question. There's like not going to be any pets there. But sometimes I also design like smaller, more like homey offices or like family businesses. And then sometimes they have a dog, but then it's already kind of accepted. So I don't have to really get involved. No, until now not, but I will keep it in mind when it's going to be an issue. I will definitely, if it's okay with you, I'm going to use your idea with the pet-free zone. And yeah, no, that sounds amazing. Yeah, I was wondering, like, yeah, just in case. Oh, yeah, that's awful, yeah. No, that can't. It would be great if you want to follow me on LinkedIn. I post very regularly about like any type of tips around healthy office, also about sustainability if you're interested in that. So yeah, you can just type in my name, follow me, maybe take a picture of this, and also on Instagram if you like. And I thank you so much for your attention and for all the questions you asked. And if you have any more questions, you can come up to me. I have some time to answer them. So thank you so much.